This is a review of the Sigma 50mm f1.4, an old 50mm prime from Sigma, first released back in 2014. They've since released a newer version. So for clarity, this is the DG HSM version. The 50mm market is pretty huge, lots of options, with the Sony f1.2 GM being the best. But this old f1.4 from Sigma very much still cuts the mustard. I've been using it for years. It's still available. Sometimes new, I think, if you're lucky, but otherwise there's a good second-hand market for them as well. The first thing you'll notice about this lens is probably its size. It's a big old beast of a lens. It's only a 50mm prime, but it almost looks like a short telephoto. It's big, it's long, it's heavy, coming in at just under a kilo. Sigma used this old school, big, complex design that at the time was pretty groundbreaking, and it allowed them to create a remarkably sharp lens, but it is a big old beast of a thing. It has an autofocus, manual focus selector switch, and a nice little focus indicator on the top. There's a silver A on the side of the lens, which indicates that it's part of the Sigma ART range. And on the bottom of this lens, there's a stamp for 014, which I think indicates that it was manufactured in 2014. There's no in-lens stabilization, which is a bit of a shame, although not unusual with the other 50mm on the market. They're mostly going on bodies that have some degree of image stabilization. Could do a bit of bird watching while I'm here. And it's really not that needed. The autofocus is very good. It's fast and responsive. They call it HSM, hypersonic motor, which is complete and utter bollocks. It's not hypersonic like the missile. It doesn't travel at many times the speed of sound. But it is a good name, I guess. Good marketing from Sigma. And it is fast and responsive. Just not quite hypersonic. It's also remarkably quiet. I don't use the autofocus much. I don't do much photography, but the manual focus is fantastic. It's just a quarter turn from its minimum focus distance out to infinity. And you'd think that a quarter turn on an f1.4 lens is far too coarse, but it works just fine. Sigma have nailed it, in my opinion. It's smooth, but firm enough, and the resistance is nice, and it operates just fine, even at those crazy f1.4 depths of field. The minimum focus distance is just 40 centimeters, which is not too shabby at all for a 50mm lens. You can still get some decent detail. Sharpness and contrast, general image quality, all fantastic in my opinion. I looked up some online pixel peeping image quality tests, and they all rate it very highly. They say it's sharpest at around f5.6, but whatever. It's an f1.4 lens, and most people are going to want to use it a lot down in that range. It's a great video lens. At f1.4 you can create some really cool cinematic images, but all round it's generally high quality, and sharpness is great. Image quality, contrast, no major aberrations. It's a good lens all round. In summary then, it's a bloody good all-round lens, and it has the ability to create those wild depth of field shots at f1.4. It's an old legacy lens, it's the HSM. I'll leave a link in the description to the exact model, and maybe you can find one. But you don't always need to have the newest, most expensive gear. The Sony f1.2 G Master comes in at over £2,000, so this is a tenth of the price maybe. But maybe you do need the f1.2, I don't know, who am I to say. I'm just pointing out that this is still bloody good, and it's a great option. I'll leave you with some examples and a link to wherever the links go. Coffee in the Woods August episode, which was shot exclusively with this lens, and it should give you a good example of what's possible. That's it. Out.